Hi guys, Blacksmith here. I'm making a video today talking about the most important thing in sports betting, and that is mindset. I'm making this video for a very specific reason. I keep coming across people, and this has been happening more recently, I guess because my group's growing in popularity. I'm coming across people who are just doomed to failure. And there is a spectrum of how good or bad someone's mindset is. On one extreme, we've got people who are just addicted to gambling. This week, I've recommended two different people, one just now actually, go to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, because when I've reviewed their account, and from things they've told me, I could tell if something was wrong with their behavior. I just knew they had a gambling problem. One of them had lost a huge amount of money, and the way that they were gambling, they were parlaying everything together that we tipped. Things like that. That's basically what I call playing the lottery with sports betting. You're not going to win. Okay, maybe there's a tiny percentage of people who will have one massive win, but it's not going to happen for most people. And in that circumstance, the people aren't really gambling for the financial gain. It's more the thrill of gambling. And this is a really important aspect. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be excited about gambling at all, but you should not be gambling for the thrill. With me personally, if I'm nervous about a bet, winning or losing, I know I'm betting too much. And there is a big problem when you have this nerves. When you're nervous about if your bet's going to win or lose, you will make bad betting decisions. You will pick the most likely outcome, the worst value bets, because you think it's most likely, it's less risky. But actually in the long run, it's the most risky bet you can take because it's not profitable most of the time. So the whole point around mindset starts off coming from a perspective where we're making calculated bets that we know are profitable and we're indifferent about the result. If I make a bet on, I don't know, Juventus are playing City tonight. Juventus are at crazy odds. I think they're like 4.20 decimal odds. That is a plus EV bet. It doesn't mean they're going to win. If they do win, really excited. If they don't, it doesn't matter. I know that bet will make me profit in the long term. That's how we should be thinking, not really bothered. If you're nervous and anxious checking your bets, you're betting too much. Which brings me on to the next point, which is actually having a proper bankroll management system. I use the unit system, which is where 100 units is 100% of your bankroll, 1 unit is 1%. And most of my bets are 1% of bankroll. And that means if you have a bad day, you have a load of losses, it doesn't matter. You'll make up for it the next day. But most of you watching this probably bet the majority or a very large chunk of your balance per bet. That's a terrible way to bet. No professional bets that way, because as soon as they have one negative streak or one bad week, they lose everything. So you can't be doing that. The reason why most people do it is because they have such a small bankroll, they need to bet that way to make a decent profit, what they think is a decent profit. But actually the way to do it is to bet very small and to gradually grow your bankroll over time. But all these different things, the reason why people are making these mistakes, it comes back to mindset. It comes back to a lack of proper mindset. And what I mean by that is, if you really want to win at something, you want to get good at something, you need to apply yourself. You need to be researching and learning. Sports betting is so unique. Out of any skill, and it is a skill, there is 100% a skill to this. That's why some people can make tons of money and some people lose loads of money. But I've never seen something that is a skill like this before, where people do not practice or do not learn and still expect to master the skill. They just want to spend a few minutes looking at the games on their phone, guess a bet and hope that they win. That is never going to happen, guys. Sorry to break it to you, but anything in life worth having takes effort and it's hard. For me, it took me 2 or 3 years every day studying gambling. And I mean every day, 7 days a week, talking to professionals who are way better than me, buying their VIP, reading their analysis, searching online, asking ChatGPT or Gemini questions about it, reading books, watching videos. You need to study it and become astute. If you don't have that mindset, just give up now, because you're never going to make money gambling. The other alternative is you can just follow someone's service like mine, but you've got to at least have the mindset to follow the staking suggestions that I recommend. Someone in my group, the person I was just talking about, who was combining all the bets together, they've been doing this for a month. And I explained to them, you're never going to make money just adding. If we give 10 bets, they would add 5 bets together. So they would only ever cash if we swept everything. And while that might happen sometimes, it's obviously not going to happen a load of times because we're professionals. If we think something's going to hit and it's worth parlaying together, we would do that. There's a reason we don't. If you think about football, red cards, VAR, teams that just don't show up or play well, so many aspects can kill one play off. So if you have big parlays, they're going to be killed off randomly all the time, even if you make good bets. So you've got to bet like a professional. And the only way to know what a professional bet's like is to study them and to learn. And it's just frustrating, guys. I had a conversation yesterday with someone on Twitter, nothing related to gambling. And it was some really stupid discussion where they were basically saying, oh, only the rich and wealthy and influential people can actually make a living from sports betting. Not from sports betting, can actually get wealthy in this society. And it really offended me because most of you might know this, some of you will, maybe a lot of you don't. But for me, I'm 37 now. Up until I was about 32, I had no skills. I was an unskilled labourer on a building site. I actually had an apprenticeship before that, and I was so bad at learning, couldn't be bothered to learn anything, that I didn't learn anything from that. I didn't get a qualification as an electrician, so I went backwards, which was quite embarrassing to do actually on a building site. If you've been working as an electrician and then you end up as an unskilled labourer years later, hod carrying for brickies, breaking your back for horrible money in terrible conditions. I did that, and all the time I was playing in a rock band as well, and I was just getting off my head every night. I had a massive drug problem. This lasted for over a decade. I was basically a completely hopeless case. When I actually got clean and sorted my life out at 32, I had no skills. I had to start from the bottom. I had to get a sales job, an entry-level sales job with a load of 20-year-olds. I was on the same level as them. It was embarrassing. I did quite well, gradually. And that basically gave me enough of basic business skills to start this group up and to know how to use sales and marketing to grow. But when I had about 5 or 6 years experience in sales, I realised, geez, I've got to work so hard. If I want to make 100 grand, I have to work so hard. I'm talking working weekends, working late every night, working my arse off. And then when I make 10, 20 grand and a month's commission, half of it gets taken and given away as tax anyway. So actually, if I make 20 grand in a month, I end up getting paid less than 10 most of the time. So it just seemed ridiculous. I could have worked for myself as well and done that. But again, working really, really hard all the time, your efforts don't compound. So that's why I started looking for other things. And sports betting is one of those things. Because if you start off with a bankroll of, say, £1,000, your ROI, the profit that you make, it's going to compound on itself and grow. So, okay, my first year betting, maybe I made a couple of thousand. Then the second year, making about 10,000. Third year, now I'm making really good money. And then this January was the first time where I was making more money from sports betting than my actual job. And I just got a new job, paid really good salary, and I could not believe it. I was like, over the Christmas period, I made more money than I did going to work. And that's when I started the group and getting really serious with it. So this is something that can change your life. But for me to get to that stage was about 3 years, not just studying sports betting. I studied all different businesses and I learnt how to learn, because all my life I've not been able to learn any skills. If I had to sit down and learn something, like when I was trying to be an electrician, I just couldn't concentrate. I couldn't apply myself. I couldn't be bothered. I thought I was too stupid as well, which made me give up really quickly. It wasn't until I realised, after more than 15 years of living that life that I hated, that no one was going to save me, that I had to make the effort to learn. And this is what I don't see in sports betting. I don't see people making the effort to try and learn it. They all want to find a quick trick that's going to help them get money. And guys, there are no tricks. There are no tricks in this game. The bookies are a big, big business that have really good analysts. They've got amazing data that better data than you or me could ever hope to have. They've got the advantage over us. But we're not competing against the bookies. We are competing against Joe Bloggs on the street who's getting drunk in the pub and putting some bets on. We're fading them. We're betting against the average punter. 97% of people lose money sports betting. So we've got to bet like the 3%. So the way that you're betting at the moment and your mates are betting, that is almost certainly the wrong way to do it. There's only one way to learn the right way, and that's to actually study professionals. And don't change the rules. If they say bet 1% of your bankroll, you better bet 1% of your bankroll. Because if you try and go rogue and start trying to make it up on your own, it's not going to work. It's like if you follow a workout program, yeah? And it says floor press, 6 sets. You go, oh, I'm not going to do floor press, I'm going to do touch and go bench press. And then after 6 months, you don't have the results. There's a reason why they told you to do floor press and not touch and go bench press. There is a reason. Maybe you don't understand the actual reason why, but they know better than you. And this arrogance of thinking that you know better than the professional is why so many people don't make money. It's why so many people join our service. I leave them a voice note and say, make sure you follow the unit suggestions. This is imperative. Make sure you do that. Super important. And then they go, oh no, I max bet everything and I've lost some money. Because as soon as you have one bad day, if you max bet everything, you'll lose all of your profit from the previous days. So there is a method and it works. I've proven that it's worked now since the start of the year. I've shared all my stats every week and many other professionals have done the exact same thing. So guys, one thing you need to do, follow professionals, learn how they do it. Have some humility and accept that you don't know best. That's why you're not making a living from sports betting right now. So you've got to learn from people who are. And then the second thing is you've got to apply yourself. You've got to adopt the mindset of if you're going to do something, you're going to do it well and you're going to be a professional. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're washing up dishes, if you're going to the gym and lifting weights, if you're going training kickboxing, or if you're sports betting, or if you're selling or working a job, stacking shelves, you need to adopt a mindset that you're going to be a professional in everything that you do. And in sports betting, that's going to mean learning what odds are. Most of you understand the sport, yeah? You understand football, you understand the lineup, how the stylistic match works. The stylistic side of a matchup is probably the least important thing because you can look at the data, the historic data, and figure out most of the time which teams have an edge. It's the lines, the odds that are the most important thing and the line movement. But most of you don't understand it, so you never try and learn because we like to stay in our comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone, learn what odds are, adopt this mindset of constantly learning and growing, and believe you me, I've proven it. In a year, you can completely change your life. It's been about a year since I was really making good money sports betting, and everything has changed since then. I've grown so fast, I've made so much money from betting, from the group as well, from sharing my plays, from finding other people that I networked with who now work with me. Guys, you need to adopt this mindset. I can't stress enough that there is no secret, there is no little trick or hint that's going to make it easy. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but the results are there. If you want to learn how to do it, you should join our group, the Syndicate group. That's our max bet group. You also get access to all the other groups, but in the Syndicate, we post our analysis with the bets. So you get a full analysis and you see exactly why we are betting the bets that we post in there. So that's how you learn. It's also the best group in terms of ROI, lower volume, higher stakes. We put a max bet or two on average every single day in there. So if you're very serious about this, join that group. But you don't have to spend money doing this, guys. Go online, go on YouTube, search videos about sports betting, buy books, read about it, follow people who post online on social media, send them messages, ask them questions. Guys, take control of your life. Do not wait for someone else to give you the answer. You've got to put the work in and I promise you the results will come. But adopt the right mindset. Do not have that mindset of the compulsive gambler who's doing it for the thrill. This is a mechanical, mathematical approach where we're just looking for good value in the market. We bet it with an appropriate stake so that we won't get hurt if we're wrong or if for whatever reason it doesn't hit. Maybe a player we bet on gets a red card early, who knows? So many reasons it may not work out, but that's why you've got to follow a specific staking system, and we're putting plus EV bets on that are going to make us money long term. We're going to be patient. And guys, the more you learn, the more you're going to earn. It's one of these cheesy sayings, but in sports betting, it's so true because most of the market are ignorant about how it works. And this is a market that's going to keep growing and growing and growing. So if you learn now all about sports betting, in 5 years' time, when there's loads of new people in there, you're going to make a fortune. Do it now, guys. If you want to join the free Telegram, the link's in the description below, or go to my YouTube profile. You can find it in there. Let's carry on making a ton of money, guys.